we should be able to see my screen now. And where I'm going to go is, this is obviously the admin dashboard for the web application. I'm going to come into Sales Hub and I'm going to come into leads. Now here is the leads page. This page has a lot of functionality in it that I feel goes unused or underutilized, and it can be used in really inefficient ways. The first thing I like to highlight is this little drop-down menu right here. This drop-down menu actually controls the search bar itself. Meaning, if I were to come in here and type an address and then type in 1701, boom, it's only going to bring up 1701s for the address because that's all I have selected. I can even type in Oak Ridge and it should bring up, oh, no, it's West Oak Ridge. I don't know why it's not bringing up, oh, because it's the whole address. There we go. And then I can search the whole address there as well. Now, if I had any leads with names on them, which I can check if I do have by filtering out by all time and getting rid of all the statuses except for that new mover lead, and see what else I got in here. There we go. And I can, if I were to search for Russell, which is a name, and while I have address selected, nothing's going to come up. Come on. Oops. I muted myself for a moment. But if I were to search for first name and type in Russell, then all the Russells in the account with the first name Russell will pop up. So that's just a way to narrow down what you're searching for with this little drop-down menu. I feel like not a lot of people use it because they're always searching for all, but that's just a way to narrow it down. That way I'm not searching for Russell Street or Russell the last name. I'm just searching for Russell the first name. And then we can always refresh what our filters are by clicking this icon with the two arrows in a circle. What I really want to highlight is this filter icon right here, this funnel icon, broken golf tee, wine glass, whatever you want to call it. When I come in here, this is going to have 4 different date range criteria that I can filter by, meaning I can choose to filter by date created, meaning when the lead was created. So this is really helpful if you're trying to see like a historical list of your leads and when they were created, and it's going to filter it out by that date. Or say you want to see when a lead was last updated. That's what the last update filter is good for. And then last status update, I like to use this one when something transitions from, say, an appointment to a customer. That way I can kind of see that transition period with last status update, because that only filters out when the status was the lead status was changed, not just when the lead had a change made to it. And the last one, appointment, I feel like this one's going to be used the least, but it's also very helpful because it'll filter out based on our date ranges on whether the lead has an appointment on it or not. And then, of course, we have our statuses, meaning this will filter out by specific lead statuses that we have. It'll show a list of them. And if I hover over them, it'll actually show me what the abbreviation means. In this case, appointment missed, pitch no sale, pitched and sold, as you can see. Now, one thing here, when I have nothing selected in the status or lead owner sections, that means everything is selected. But I do need a date range, or else, oh, actually, if I don't have a date range selected, that means it's all being filtered out. So I do want to pick a date range most of the time. I feel like the most common use case here is going to be last updated. And then I have preset date ranges here on the left from all time to this year, which is only 3 days. So probably not going to be much data in there. Last month, this month, last week, this week, yesterday, and just today. But I also have the calendar side of things where I can click dates, just like you do on any other calendar application, and that date range will be locked in for me when I click done. Nothing gets locked in until you click done, though. Now, I'm going to do it for all time because I want to see all my leads. But say I have like a bunch of things selected. Say I have a couple of different statuses selected. I have a couple of different lead owners selected, Dwight Schrute and Evan Spencer. And I click done. And now I'm showing 100 leads. That's great. But what I really want to do is I want to get everything back to how it was. meaning these filters are not helpful for me anymore. I'm going to click on the funnel icon, and in the top right-hand corner, we have a little reset button. When I click that, it'll reset everything, and it will update the last updated filter to be 7 days, the past 7 days. That's what happens when you click the reset button. And it's a very useful tool on how to get everything back to where you want it to be. Now I'm going to filter out by a few more leads because I want to see more leads than what I'm seeing right now. And then we're going to go over a couple different more features that I feel like will help with your efficiency.
We do have a really quick question, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
Kevin from the east side of the world, actually, just mentioned that his lead statuses do look a little bit different than what is being showed here on the screen. And he was wondering how he can get an appointment missed status. That would be helpful for him and his team.
That is a great question. Thank you, Kevin. And basically how we can add lead statuses from an admin perspective is we come to the settings menu, and then we come to lead statuses, and then all we have to do is click new, and we can create and add a new lead status. So in this case, we would be appointment missed, right? And we could name that however we want to. We could pick a color and this icon. We'll click save, and then that'll be a new lead status for you in your application. Great question.
And then only admins and owners will have that privilege to do that on the account unless given the permission to do as another user in the account, but typically owner and admins.
Yeah. And say certain data is more important to you than other data. I'm going to come to this gear icon right here and say what's really important to me is business name. I'm going to turn that on, and I can actually move it to the very top. This is a rearrangeable settings menu to reorder the columns, as well as display what data is really important to me. Say I really want to see phone numbers, but I don't need to see when the date was created, last updated, or status update. But I really want to know who the lead owner is, so I'm going to move that near the top as well. Now, when I click done, it's going to rearrange those and show them in the order that I rearranged it to. So this is a quick way to make your quick at a glance catered to what you need it to be. And we can hide and show whatever we want to by clicking the checkbox. Say we don't need this business name. Now it's gone. Now we have lead owner as the first tab.
We do have another question coming in here, kind of
Great.
pertains to what we're talking about. They just asked, if I move the columns like that, does it change it for all of my users?
That is a great question. As far as I know, this is user specific. So you can customize it for yourself, and it'll only look that way just for you, because it caches on your personal device and account.
Great question.
It should not change for everybody else because they all have their own account. Unless you're sharing an account as an admin, then obviously it should reflect that way. Great questions, though. I love it when the questions come in. Now, the next thing I want to highlight when it comes to efficiency is how we can filter. Say I have all these new mover leads, but I want to reassign them to someone. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to filter out by the new mover leads. I'll click done and done. And I see that they're all assigned to Jamie. I'm even going to show up to 100 rows per page. Looks like Jamie owns most of these new movers leads. Some are owned by Russell Owens. So if that's the case, I want Russell Owens to keep his new movers leads, but I want to filter out the ones Jamie owns. I'm going to select Jamie as the lead owner. Now I only have Jamie as the new mover lead owner. I'm going to click this little box in the top left-hand corner, and it's going to select all the leads on the page. But we also have the option to select all the leads on the center of the page. I'll select all those leads. I'm going to, as you can see, a little arrow appeared here, which if I had nothing selected, that arrow is not there. I'll select all the leads. I'll click the drop-down menu, and I can actually change the ownership of those leads in bulk really quickly. And then I'll say I want Lucas to have those new movers. I'll click confirm and change ownership. And just like that, we have Lucas who has access to those new mover leads. I can send him a message through the app itself, and now he knows where to go knock. And that's kind of like the basics of like using the leads page efficiently. I do want to not spend too much time on this. If there's any more questions that come in about the leads page specifically, please ask them. But I think now is a great time to transition over to the map.
Sure. So before we do that, there is one question that popped up, and it was mostly pertaining to how to export the information. Is there a way to pull the information out of SalesRabbit?
Absolutely. So say I want to export all these new mover leads so I can send mailers per se. That's a common use case. I'll select them, select all leads, and then there's a drop-down menu and I can export the leads right there. Now, mind you, there is a 10,000 lead limitation, but you can export as many batches as you want at a time. I'll click export leads. It'll ask me to confirm. And this doesn't make any changes to the leads. It just adds a lead report to my downloads. Great question.
Perfect. All right, guys. So like you mentioned, we're going to go ahead and transition into the map section now. I'm going to let Lucas continue driving here, and I'm just going to kind of speak about it a little bit. But on the far left-hand side, when you're logged into your account as an admin, if you click on Sales Hub, you'll see a pop-up for map. Now, underneath that, you're also going to see a section that says Areas Map. I actually don't want you guys to use this anymore. This is a feature, an older feature of SalesRabbit, which we're soon going to be doing away with, and we want everything to be worked out of the map section. So if you are using the Areas Map, try to refrain and just use the map section from this point moving forward. But clicking on map, you guys are going to see it brings up, again, a picture of the map of the entire US. Now, at the top, there's going to be a search bar. There's a plus icon, top right-hand corner. There's a filters section, and then a bunch of different icons on the far right-hand side. Now, what I want to start with first is going to be the little tiny 3-stacked plate icon on the far right-hand side of the screen. This will give you guys the ability to change your map layers. So if you don't like the street view of the map, at the very bottom, you can change the terrain. Totally up to you guys on what that looks like. But again, I personally prefer hybrid myself, just so I can kind of see the names of the cities and streets and states, plus like obviously the mountain views, or I guess the satellite imaging, I should say. Those are my personal favorite views. Now you can also toggle on and off the leads and areas section. So leads, if you guys want to be able to see the leads on the map. So go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer there for me, Lucas, into the Utah section. And then go ahead and toggle on leads for me. So when you guys have your leads toggled on, you'll see that it just kind of groups them together in these little glumps. So anywhere from 1 all the way up to however many leads you guys have in this area. And if you keep clicking on those little glumps that you can see in red, it'll actually zoom you in a little bit further and then show you what areas have the most leads. And you can kind of, again, click on those little red glumps is what I call them. And it will just keep zooming you in and pulling you in further to view those leads the way that you need to. Now, if you guys like the view of the mobile app better when it comes to showing you leads, where you can actually see the lead status on top of each individual home, if you go ahead and zoom into an area that you have a lot of leads in, and then zoom a little bit closer so we can actually see the roofs of the homes, it will display the leads almost exactly like it does on the mobile app. So we'll give it a second to load here, and then we'll just have Lucas zoom in here for us.
Doesn't want to zoom in for me, Russ. I don't know why.
I'm
going to refresh the page. Give me a second.
That'll do. Here in the room we're in, we have not very good internet sometimes. And so
yeah, the Wi-Fi can be a little touch and go sometimes.
That's okay. We work with it. But as I mentioned, while Lucas is getting this pulled up for us, when you have zoomed in all the way, it'll show you each individual lead pin on top of each individual home. And like I mentioned, it looks almost like it does on the mobile app. So it's really, really nice, really user-friendly, and just allows you to be able to more efficiently see the leads that you guys have working in your area. Again, so you can work them the way that you need, reassign them if you need to, like Lucas showed you guys a little bit earlier. But we'll give it just a second here.
Oh,
maybe it'll go. But I digress. We'll move on from this section. And again, it'll just allow you guys to view your lead. So that 3-stack plate icon on the far right-hand side for me, Lucas, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, you guys can change the terrain, turn on or off the leads that you guys may or may not want to view. The third option that you have is areas. As an admin or a manager or even an owner on the account, you guys have the ability to create yourself territories or create your reps territories and then assign them specific regions or specific places to go out and actively canvas. Now, you can create those territories using the mobile app. Pretty sure we demoed that on the last webinar that we did last month. But to show you guys how you can do it from the computer, really, really straightforward. I'll have you on the far right-hand side, above that 3-stack plate icon is a little constellation icon. It kind of looks like a bunch of points with lines going to it. Clicking on that will bring up the areas menu, which you guys just want to simply select what office you want to assign this area to. So obviously, if you guys have multiple offices within your SalesRabbit account, just choose which one it should belong to. And then with your cursor, just click on all the different points of interests for that area in particular. And it can be as little or as large as you choose. Now, as mentioned on the last webinar as well, if you guys have data grid information, it's going to be best practice to keep these areas about 3,000 homes or less inside of each individual territories, just so we're not, slowing down the mobile app for you guys generating those data grid pins. But as an admin on the computer, you can generate any size of territory you want. Once it has been generated, just simply click inside of the empty territory, anywhere inside of it. It'll bring up that little pop-up menu, which you can then click the drop down and then assign it to the person or the people that you need to have it assigned to. Once you do, you just click assign on the far right-hand side, and it will pop up in that user or user's color. Again, really simple, really straightforward here. If you click on the area as well, as Lucas is demonstrating, you can see who is currently or actively assigned to this area, or who was assigned to it in the past, if you guys ever want to keep track of historical records of the areas and territories that you guys go into. Now, other than that, again, territory assignments, really straightforward. If you zoom in a little bit closer on that territory for me, Lucas, after you guys have drawn it, you're going to see these little tiny points of interest for that territory itself. You can actually grab those little territories, or I guess those little white circles on the territory, and then drag them and expand or unexpand or decrease the area size, if you will, a little bit more simple. Again, it just makes it a little bit more efficient for you, so you don't have to delete the territory, redraw the territory. You can simply just drag it, pull it out. But that's how you guys can, again, create territories and then also view the leads as an admin using the map function here. We do have a couple of questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and just answer those really fast. Someone asked, would the recorded presentation be available afterwards for future reference? And yes, to answer that, anyone who has signed up for the webinar, you're going to receive an email with the recorded, I guess, video of the webinar itself. So thank you for that. And the next question, can I use the map view to reassign leads like the mobile app? I rarely use the mobile app, and it would be nice to be able to reassign the leads from my computer. The answer there is yes. So we'll have Lucas, if you can, if the map will allow you to do it this time.
We'll see.
Zoom in.
Back on.
I was gonna say we'll zoom in on a random lead here. Let's choose that little pink one right there.
Yep.
So after you guys click on a lead, you're gonna be able to see the lead information, obviously, but there's a little pop out icon in the top right-hand corner next to the new mover lead name. And clicking on that will actually pop out that lead in particular, where you guys can obviously edit the lead information as you see fit, but then right there where it says lead owner, you can select it and change it to who it needs to belong to. Great question. Now, one of the last things that I want to cover is being able to create or generate leads using the map function from scratch. So in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see this little pin icon. Clicking on that, you'll see a little pop-up that says create new lead. If we select that, we can choose what lead status we want this lead to be created as. So if we're going to be creating a bunch of customers that we may have worked with previously, or maybe we just have a bunch of, I guess we have a call center, for example, and they've had a couple of leads come in for us, and I just want to pinpoint them on the map so my reps can actually go out there and actively hit them. You can simply click on create lead and then just start touching on the map where you want that lead to go. You'll see that wherever you touch, it'll drop that lead pin right there. Again, just like you're using the mobile software, but you're using the computer here, obviously. Now, my personal favorite way to create leads is not actually using this little pin icon. If you go ahead and exit that pin section, Lucas, at the very, very top in the center of the screen, there is a plus icon. Clicking here, you'll see it allows you to do either a single lead or a multi-lead creational tool. Go ahead and click on multi for me. Clicking on this allows me to more quickly, I should say, create leads one after the other, so I don't have to keep doing like individual leads. Go ahead and just select any random status. And since I have multi selected, I want to go ahead and start creating multiple leads. So go ahead and just click on each individual home inside of that little block that you're in. And you'll see that when I do that, or as we do that, it will start dropping those little lead pins for us, allowing us to more efficiently create these leads using the map function here. Now, doing it this way obviously does not allow you to edit the information fast enough for these leads if you're dropping a lot of pins, but now that they've been dropped, we can then select each individual lead and change the information on them as we see fit. Once you are done, just like Lucas demonstrated, you can click the little X at the top and it will exit that lead creation system. And then again, we can click on these leads individually, select the pencil icon, and then edit the lead information as we need. So really, really straightforward. And again, I think that's a very highly underutilized feature. Usually in my onboarding calls, have a lot of admins asking me, what's the fastest way to create just leads from scratch using the map? That's the way to do it, using the multi-lead creational tool. And again, that's just a plus icon at the very, very top. Now, last but not least, I saved this for the, or I guess not last but not least, second to last least. I saved this because it's pretty straightforward and simple. There's a search bar at the very, very top, which allows you to search the map. Because we are on a map, it's like searching Apple or Google Maps. If I typed in Bob Ross, it's not going to bring me to Bob Ross's name or lead. It's going to take me to Bob Ross Street. So keep that in mind. You're searching the map with that search bar there at the very top. Now, this will be the last but very not leastest thing that I'll talk about here in the map section. In the top right-hand corner, we have an area for filter leads. Now, this is going to work almost the exact same way that Lucas just described the leads section will, when you can filter to only locate or only find specific leads within the account. But you can filter them on the map here just the same. You'll see that when you click on it, you can filter by a date range if you want to go the last time that it was created or last updated, or again, if there's an appointment scheduled for it, just like Lucas demonstrated, you can filter for the exact same information. For status, you can filter for specific leads to only be displayed on the map for you at one time. So if you just want to see the amount of appointments and customers that you guys have gotten, just make sure you click those two icons, select only those two, and then click apply. Go ahead and click just any random one and then click apply for me, Lucas. If you guys aren't ever sure if you happen to have any active filters going, when you do have something going in the top right-hand corner next to the filter leads section, there's going to be a little pop-up that has the number of leads, or I guess filters, that you currently have active in the filters section. And if you ever want to put that back to default or just change it, just simply click that little filter section and then reset in the top right-hand corner. Now we have a couple of questions coming in here. So somebody asked, I have some leads from an old CRM. How do I get those into SalesRabbit? Do I have to do them one at a time like you just showed me? And to answer that, no. There is a way that you guys can upload a CSV file as an admin or an owner on the account by simply clicking on Sales Hub on the far left-hand side and then clicking on the Import Upload section. Now, we've covered this in previous demos before, but just to kind of quickly explain how it works, all you guys need to do is click Choose File, select the file that you may want to be uploading from your CRM, for example. Once you have one, we'll wait for Lucas to go through the thousands of files that he has on his computer to find the one CSV that we need.
Yep, I got ready for that one. There we go.
No, it's all good. Once you have it, it's going to prompt you to choose what type of lead you're putting into the account. Are we uploading leads that have yet to be canvassed, or are we uploading a list of customers that we have already canvassed? And this will be something that we can get into, I should say, on a later webinar, but two different types of uploads. Again, leads that have yet to be canvassed or customers that you guys have already completed. That is a great question. Now, we also had a question come in from somebody named Jamie here. He asked if can I filter out leads by lead owner here? Now, that is a great question. If you click the filter section, you'll see that there are only currently two ways that we can filter. One of them is by date range. The other one is by status only. The only way to filter by lead owner is using what Lucas showed you guys earlier on the leads list page, but that is a great feature request and something that we can go ahead and request for you guys after this webinar, because I think that would benefit many different companies. But that is the map section in its entirety. Like I mentioned, it's a very, very underutilized tool in my opinion, and I highly encourage all of you guys to kind of hop in there and use as much of that as you possibly can. And as I mentioned before, just to kind of reiterate it one more time, there is the map section underneath Sales Hub and the areas map. Areas map allows you to only create territories and areas, and that's it. And again, that's kind of a dying feature of SalesRabbit, which we will hopefully remove from the app soon. So please just utilize that map section. But other than that, I'll turn the time back over to Lucas here, unless we have any other questions, or do you happen to think if I missed anything?
I think you covered that pretty comprehensively, Russ. Good job.
Okay, thank you. We'll turn the time back over to Lucas then to talk about some sales materials and some connectors.
Yes. So here's the deal. I feel like something that is highly underutilized and can add to efficiency is not leaving the SalesRabbit app. But how can we help our reps not leave the app? I feel like there's two big ways we can do that. The first is going to be sales materials right here underneath Sales Hub, right underneath our legacy feature agreements, right here, sales materials. And as you can see, we already have a bunch of files in here. We have a QR review, meaning if you have a QR code that can be scanned by when you're knocking the door, they can just write a review for your company right then and there. We have a lead statuses like legend, which now that's built into the app, so you don't really, that's kind of a redundant feature, but hey, if you want it in there, another spot, you can put it in there as well. Absolutely. There's a sales script. So say, your reps are they're not going to be at a door 100% of the time. While they're walking between doors, they can be scrolling through a script and making sure that they're up to date on everything. And all of these can be downloaded directly to your reps' devices. That way they never have to leave the app. And it doesn't have to just be a picture or a PDF document. As you can see, we have different file types in here. We have a PDF file type. We have a Word file type. We have a picture file type. You could technically even add videos and PowerPoints in here as well. So this is, I feel like, highly underutilized feature that can be used to just allow your reps to be more efficient while they're knocking doors.
We did have a couple of questions here. The first one was, how do my reps access this folder here?
That's a great question. I can demo that.
Yeah.
And let me just pull out my iPad here really quick, and I'll share that screen for you. And we will demo exactly how your reps can access those files.
So while Lucas is getting this set up, I'll just kind of explain it to you guys. So accessing the sales material section from the web app or the computer, this is going to be more of an admin/owner function. They should be the only ones that have the ability, I should say, to use that feature to upload the material for the reps. But as a rep, Lucas is about to demonstrate for you guys when they've logged into the account or logged into, I guess, their iPad or their Android, whatever it may be. There's going to be a section on the mobile app where they can go ahead and access that information once it is made available to them via the sales materials section. So that is a great question. And as I mentioned, we'll give Lucas just a couple more seconds to get logged in. He's just logging into his test user here.
There we go. I'm all logged in. I'm going to share my iPad screen here in just a moment.
And then as Lucas mentioned as well, I'll even just kind of reiterate it. This is a very, very underutilized feature. I really wish more companies that I would onboard would put more material into this section to make it easier or more efficient for the reps out in the field to do what they need to do. For example, a lot of the solar companies that I worked with in the past will have PDF files or like one-shot sheets kind of pertaining to whatever solar program they're offering in that area or that state at that time. And if a customer ever requests information about that program and they don't really have time to chat at that exact moment, they can simply just take whatever information is in the Sales Hub section or sales materials section rather. And if it's like in a PDF format, for example, the rep can simply, from the PDF, send that out to anybody that they may need to by clicking a little button in the bottom left-hand corner of the PDF. It kind of looks like a square with an arrow on it within the mobile app. And when they click on that, they can either airdrop it to people, they can email it, they can text it even. So again, that's a very, very useful feature for reps out in the field to be able to send material, I should say, to people as needed. Now, another use case is going to be putting in virtual door hangers. So for example, in the roofing industry, I know that a lot of roofers like to use door hangers. They'll leave physical door hangers at people's doors. And sometimes if you end up talking to somebody, you can leave them that door hanger, but they might just like turn around, close the door on you and then throw it away immediately. So I personally prefer to have it digitized, adding in that little PDF file of that digital door hanger into the sales materials section. As a rep, I can just quickly say, hey, what's your cell phone number? Let me text this to you really quickly just so you at least have our information. One, that gets that door hanger sent to them, but two, you also get a contact phone number for the individual so you can follow up with them a couple of different ways a little bit later down the road.
Russ, thank you for covering that. Apparently my software is not detecting my iPad today.
Hey-o.
So that a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but we'll continue on and we will highlight how to access sales materials from the app. I can just describe it to you. Your reps will go into the Tools tab, which is at the bottom right of the screen, and then sales materials will be the top option right there. And then if you have sales materials uploaded from the web app, it'll download directly to your rep's mobile apps, and then that's where they can access them. And that's something we can get. I'm sure we have video tutorials on our help center. So that's a great place to highlight where you can access how to see that through the help center.
Yes, great call out. And we'll make sure that if anybody requests it or ever reaches out to our support team to get information about the sales material section, we'll just have them include the link to the help center article. We got videos, step-by-step walkthroughs, makes it a little bit more simple. We did have a little question come through here, and somebody asked if we can add contracts to the sales materials section.
Absolutely, you can add contracts to the sales materials section, but we do have a digital contracts feature through SalesRabbit where you can actually have those contracts signed through one of our partners. And that's a more efficient way, I feel like, of having contracts through SalesRabbit. But if you just need the picture of it to like show, and if you're going to print out like a physical copy of it at the door, then yeah, you can absolutely have contracts in the sales materials.
Absolutely. And just like you mentioned, only for visualization purposes, only for viewing, but you won't be able to do anything with them. So if you guys do want to get more information about those digital contracts where you can actually sign them via SalesRabbit, like Lucas mentioned, reach out to the support team. But we did have one more question come through. Somebody asked, where is the help center and how can we find it?
Yeah, that's a great question. You want to take that one, Russ?
Sure. So if you guys just go to help.salesrabbit.com, I believe that's what it is, right?
Yes.
Say it should be. It should just be help.salesrabbit.com. And if you guys happen to have a SalesRabbit account, it will automatically log you in if you're logged into the account already. That is one way that you guys can find it or access it, just like Lucas showed here. Or if you guys are logged in to your account already using, or I guess as an admin. So go ahead and jump back, Lucas, to the admin page here. In the bottom right-hand corner, there's going to be a little button where you can reach out via chat to our support team if you ever need to, or that little announcement icon that Lucas clicked on as well. That'll kind of announce things to you here. And if you ask the bot within this little chat section, or type in a question or some type of issue that you may be having, as Lucas will do, it will automatically try to generate you links to the Help Center, hopefully or possibly related to that subject, in which you can then access from that page. And this might be something that the support team is actively building as we speak. But this is just one way that you guys can access the Help Center using this method as well. Again, really straightforward and simple. My personal favorite way, though, just go to help.salesrabbit.com. Makes it a lot more simple.
Yeah.
Now, we do have one more question here. Somebody said, we already have an internal company website with a bunch of scripts and materials already. Can I link that to the sales materials section somehow?
Oh man, it's like you read my mind. I love that we got this question because that's literally what we're about to go over next, which is connectors. I'm going to come into settings, which is a little bit different. This will actually allow you to remain in the SalesRabbit app, but allow you to access different places through the application. I'm going to come into settings, and under the sales category at the very bottom, we have something called connectors right here. I'm going to open this up, and this connectors tab allows me to create different links to different either websites or different forms when it comes to SalesRabbit. As you can see, we have the SalesRabbit company website right here. It's a web connector. And then here is the URL right here. I'm going to click these three dots and click edit. And as we can see, we have the name of the connector. We have the URL, and then we have this connected to lead question mark. What no means it'll only be found in the sales materials section. Optional means it'll be found connected to the lead by a little S icon with two dots. And required means it's only going to show on the lead and not in the sales materials section. And then I can also choose who can see what connector by clicking this visibility section. If no user is selected, that means they're all selected. Let's say I just wanted Russell Owens and Russ Terry, our two Russell companions.
The Russes, we know what we're doing.
Russes, then I can make it to where just those two could see that connector. So it's up to you. You can get really granular on how you want the connector to be displayed, both in the app and to what user. But as you said, you had a company website with all of these materials already on it. what you would do is you would click create new. You would go from App Connect to Web Connect. You could do company materials. And then all you would have to do is copy and paste that URL right into here. And there you go. It'll open within the app itself, and you'll be able to access the sales materials directly from the SalesRabbit app. So that was a great question. I'm glad we had. Here's the thing, though. Last little thing I wanted to touch on. It's not little at all. The connectors can do more than just link to a website or an app or something like that. We can actually push lead data from the connector to somewhere else. And I'm going to highlight what that looks like right now. I'm going to open this up here. I'm going to open up my Google Forms. Oh, actually, I need to share my Google Forms screen. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me maximize this and let me share that really quick. Here I have a Google test form. And as you can see, we have a rep name, a client name, and a client address and notes. This is just a basic form I have set up. But what we can do is we can take this form and we can link it to a connector. And then when we access that connector from the application, all that lead data will be pushed directly to the form. I'll highlight how to do this just really quick. We're going to click these 3 dots here on Google Form. And if you are a Office Suite user, this feature is coming to Microsoft soon. They said it's supposed to be releasing this year. So we will update our Help Center articles once Microsoft does allow these pre-filled links to be, or these get request links, but currently it's not available on the Office Suite platform. I'm going to click these 3 dots. I'm going to click get pre-filled link. And right in here, it's going to open up my test form as if I'm filling it out. I'm just going to type in rep name here. I'm typing in all capitals. You'll see why in just a moment, because it's going to allow me to see. I'm just going to type in address here, address and notes. It's going to allow me to edit this form in a way that makes a lot more sense. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Here I am back in the connector. I have my get requests link. I'm going to click create new in the top right-hand corner. It's going to be a web connect. This is going to be my Google form. You can name these whatever you want. But when I paste in did I not copy the link? Silly me. Copy link. There we go. When I copy in the link, the URL, as you can see in the URL right here, it says rep name in all caps, client name in all caps, address in all caps, and notes in all caps. That's because I filled out those spaces, and that is telling me where the data is going to go. And all I have to do is click on formatting help right here. And this is going to allow me to copy and paste the different lead data that I want to be pushed to the lead. So all I have to do is, okay, rep name. I come down here to user first name. User is going to be the rep. I'll copy this little code right here. And by the way, if you ever need any assistance setting up these connectors and you're past your onboarding, support is a great resource for you because they are product specialists and they can help you get these connectors set up, no problem. I'm going to paste that right here where it says rep name, but I don't just want the first name. I want the last name as well. So I'm going to add a %20 right in there, which is just in code language and HTML code language. It's just a space. That's all that is. I'll copy user last name, copy that, throw that in there after the %20. Looks like I got a space in there. I'll delete that and boom, just like that. I have the user first name and the user last name. That's going to be pushed to that Google form. And then next I want the client first and last name. I'll just copy and paste that. For time's sake, I will just do the first name in this case, but like I said, you can do, actually I'll just do it, the %20 and add in the last name.
And while Lucas is working on this, we just had one question come through that I wanted to quickly address.
Yeah.
Somebody just said this looks pretty advanced. Where can I get help on this? Lucas did mention you guys can reach out to the support team. I'll go ahead and we should in the follow-up email include information about our, I guess, support contact information. So you guys can either email them, call them, message them, whatever you might need to. Or like I mentioned a little bit before, in the bottom right-hand corner while you're working on this little setup, there's a little chat bubble in the bottom right-hand. It's red, it says chat. You can simply click on that and then chat live with one of our support reps and they can assist you that way. Or again, you can call them.
Great question. And lastly, I'm going to grab the notes. Where is my notes? There they are, lead notes. I'll grab that. I'm going to put that in there just like that. And then I will click save. If I did it right, unexpected error.
And this is why we have the support team.
This is why we have the support team, because apparently I did it wrong. But if I did it right, I already have a Google form filled out right here. I can grab this link right here and I'll just grab, copy and paste it, and I'll paste it into a tab right here. And if I did it right, it'll show you lead first name, lead last name, lead email, lead street, city, state, postal code, lead notes, and even we can add in more fields where that can be customized and filled in by the rep themselves.
Yeah, so this is information on the mobile app. If you guys clicked on this connector link, it would automatically pre-populate all the information that Lucas listed here with the information that is shown from the lead. So it'll populate all the lead information onto the form. A lot of people use this, at least in my experience of doing onboarding, a lot of people will use this for free estimates. If they already have a form that they're using for some type of estimate generation tool, they will simply, from SalesRabbit, grab the link, pre-populate all the information, and then it sends that response normally wherever it would go. So it just makes it a lot more efficient. But somebody did have a question here. Somebody asked if there are any pre-built connectors and what do other people use them for?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like I said, a lot of people like to get the lead data into another database for, like, be it redundancy, be it for mailers, be it for whatever you want to use to get into another CRM that we might not integrate with. So that's a great question. And then there is no specifically pre-built connectors, but if you're still in onboarding, you can let your onboarding specialist know, your implementation specialist know, and they would be happy to build those out for you. And like I said, support is there as your assistance if you're past the onboarding process.
Perfect. Now we do have one final question that came through here just moments ago, and somebody asked, how do we get access to prior webinar links like this one?
That is a great question. Usually when you sign up for the webinar, you will get the link to the recording. But as for previous webinar links, we're working on getting those uploaded to our YouTube channel. And that way we'll have all of them available there, and it'll be in a nice little one-stop shop for you to access our webinars.
Perfect. And you can also reach out to the support team as well if you guys still aren't able to find anything. I believe they're able to pull previous recordings of the past webinars that we have done, so you can always reach out to them. But then we had one more final question come through. This is again from Jamie. He's been chatting like crazy today, but he asked, are you guys going to be doing a mobile app training for my reps so they can join sometime?
Absolutely. Today was just focused on admins and owners of accounts and just some functionality for them on how to make things more efficient for their reps. But come our next webinar, we're going to be focusing on those reps out there and making sure we are highlighting different features and tips and tricks for them. Don't worry, we don't forget the reps. We're here for you guys. Out of our monthly webinar rotation, most of those calls are actually geared towards the reps.
People using the software, got to get it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as mentioned before, we've had a lot of covered material today, a lot of questions that came through, and we really appreciate that. We appreciate you guys always reaching out, asking us questions if you're not sure of how something is going to work, or if we covered anything today that you're still a little bit confused on. As I mentioned before, please reach out to the support team. They are a powerhouse. They are great at what they do, and they will be willing to help you guys out ASAP the second that you reach out to them. As Lucas mentioned, the next webinar that we're going to go ahead and do is going to be more geared towards the reps, so keep a lookout for invites for that. They'll usually come right before the webinar starts, so a couple of weeks, maybe a week or two right before it starts. We'll also include a link on the follow-up for this to sign up for future webinars if you guys ever need to. If you ever want to sign up for future webinars, if you just go to salesrabbit.com/webinar-clients, that's what the URL is if you guys just want to type it in yourselves, and you can sign up for future webinars, like I mentioned. But Lucas, anything else from you today before we go ahead and end it for today?
I just want to say that, like I said, if you have any more questions or you want to sign up for the next webinar, please do that. It's as you said, as you saw today, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot we, didn't have time to cover. But yeah. Any last minute questions coming in?
No, not last minute questions, but one last thing to mention to you guys is we do have a survey that's going to be sent out to you guys after the webinar is over. So please, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment to get that survey filled out for us, any and all feedback is good, even if it is negative, so we know what we need to improve on. So again, any feedback is great feedback. If you guys wouldn't mind taking the time to get that done for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and our own Russ is here working on webinar V2 as well. So you might see some things get shaken up here in the future. Might not just see the same background and same people. We're gonna be we have some exciting stuff upcoming. So get excited for webinar V2.
Hopefully some big changes, positive changes.
Yeah. And then don't forget that the support's contact info is available on the website. But if you need a number, it's 801-418-9009, option 1. And their hours are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And there's also the live chat option and email option through the mobile app.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining the webinar today, and we'll look forward to next month.
Bye.
Have a good one.